Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and guys, it is time to play around with some new Natasha Denona. It's been only a minute since we talked about her Sunrise palette. I did a full review, which of course I will link up here. But recently she released her new liquid eyeshadows. I picked up all 5 shades and we are going to dive into them today. We're going to swatch, talk, wear test, all the good stuff. So these are the little guests of the hour. As you can tell, they're just cute little nuggets. They're all pretty neutral. These are the swatches, which we'll get into here in just a second. Just to run through a couple of the basics, these are $25 a piece and you get 0.27 ounces of product. Now, just to give that some perspective, the ones from Stila, the glitter and glows that several of us love, I love them, I have several of them, those are $24 a piece and they have 0.15 ounces of product. And there's these ones also. These are the liquid chrome paints from Tarte. They recently released this one. This is the shade Pride, released for Pride Month, and they have a gold one that they released right before Coachella. They are both very, very nice and I've used them several times, but these are $19 a piece and have 0.22 ounces of product. I know there's several other things out there. Those are just the two that kind of came into my mind first, so I figured those are what I would throw out there for comparison for you guys. But given that information and just some other stuff that I've done looking around, you are actually getting a nice amount of product for the price, especially if you're looking at the Stila comparison, because that, like I said, $24 and it's 0.15 fluid ounces, so there's quite a big difference. So again, just wanted to put that out there. I know Natasha Denona stuff can be a little pricey, but I feel like so far from what I'm seeing, this is one of those moments where you're actually getting a pretty good value given the market. And obviously that's just on the high end side. I'm not going down into the drugstore. I know like BH has them and those would be a lot more affordable, but I was just kind of trying to compare like the high end side of things, hence the Stila, the Tarte, so on and so forth. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the swatches because I know that is what everyone is dying to know. So I'm going to go ahead and throw up the swatches for you. And from top to bottom, you are looking at the first shade, which is a nice kind of yellow duochrome. That is the shade Zone. Then Sienna. Then you have the shade Moonstone, Nightfall, and Obad. So now that we've seen the swatches, I do want to go through the Natasha Denona website. She does have a brief description on there. It's nothing crazy. It says that our Chroma Crystal Liquid High Quality Eyeshadows now feature a new lustrous liquid formula creating sensational next level sparkling effects with 5 edgy and iridescent shades. Made with rich, saturated, high quality pigments, dazzling chroma crystals, and luminous mineral pearls for the most comfortable, long wearing liquid formula that you will love to layer or wear alone. Now, as far as how to use goes, it says it's very simple. Apply on top of the eyelid using the applicator or using your fingertip. Very easy, very straightforward. So for today, as you guys can tell, I went very basic in the realm of makeup, and these are not the most like poppy, crazy blue, purple, pink type shades. Again, very neutral. I'm not mad at that. I definitely, like I said, I think it matches the Natasha Denona vibe, and I think that these are liquid shimmers that would actually complement what she has already produced, so I'm okay with that. But that being said, that does mean that this eye look isn't going to be over the top crazy. I'm just going to layer a couple and really just play around with them, see how the formula lasts and all of that good stuff. So let's go ahead and set these down and get ready. All right, guys, so because these are going to be very shiny and reflective, I'm not going to move the camera in too close unless I have to. And that's mainly just because a lot of times the reflection that can be cast by stuff like this, when it's really close to camera, it can actually throw off the white balance. And I want to see if I can get these as close to accurate as possible for you guys. So I did move it in a little bit, but I'm not going to move it in a crazy amount. So just an FYI, that's kind of why I do that. And you'll see me do that as we go forward in a lot of videos, because lately when I have been editing them, it seems like there's reflection issues or something, and it's just best if I can maintain a better quality or a better picture and accuracy for you guys. So that's what I'm doing if you were curious. Now I'm gonna go ahead and prime my lids with the ABH eye primer. Now I am gonna be doing this a little bit differently than normal. You guys know that I prefer to work with a tacky base, but because these are a liquid shade and I'm not gonna be going in with any other like shadows or bronzers or anything like this, I'm just going to be using these liquid shimmers. I want to make sure that I go through and lightly set this base. That way it's not a liquid on a liquid, because I want to be as fair to these as is humanly possible. I think the best way to do that would be to set the lid. So I'm just going in with a thin layer of this just to kind of cancel everything out. And then I'm going to go in here just with a little bit of this translucent powder. This is from Pixi. This is their Flawless Finish powder, and I'm just going to lightly tap that on top of the lid. Now, one thing I didn't show you guys is actually the up close yet of these components, so let's go ahead and throw that up as well. I really like the look and design of these. They're little, but they feel very elevated. They have a nice kind of sleek sophistication. I like that you can see inside the bottle. They're complemented with that gold trim, that gold packaging. Very pretty. Now, I don't know if you can see the doe foot, like the little details of it on camera, but it does have this adorable little fuzzy foot that I just think is the cutest little thing. The shape of it is actually really nice, and I think this would be a great shape to have if you wanted to do a cut crease or anything like that. So I quite like so far everything that I've seen from these, aesthetically speaking, and the use of it. I think this could be really handy. So let's go ahead here, grab some of this product. Again, we're going to go in with the shade Zone first, and I'm just going to start off by taking this on the inner portion and kind of patting it right here. Now I'm just going to carry it up through. Now I'm just going to go over top of that a little bit and kind of pat it. I want to get a feel for the actual product. And it kind of feels oily, and it's actually kind of patchy. That's weird. Okay, I am gonna have to pull you guys in because this is a little bit different than what I thought it would be. Okay, so we're good and close. If the coloring or anything like that is off a little bit, I apologize. But I'm going to show you guys, like right in here, you can actually see a difference in where the base was set over here, just like on this side. But right through here where I applied just a little bit of this liquid shimmer, it's kind of already like repelling and removing the eyeshadow base, which is really, really weird. It does tell me this is more of an oily formula, but I just want to go in and I'm gonna try to build it up a little bit here. Because maybe if you just get down like a layer of it, maybe it'll, I don't know, stick a little better. Like that already looks so much more opaque. Maybe that's all it is. I don't know. Okay, I just took that pretty far over, but the shade itself, very, very beautiful. I'm gonna let that dry down and just kind of let it go from there while I get the next color ready. Oh, and do the other eye. Damn, guys, I always forget I have two eyes. What is wrong with me? And see, right here is kind of what I was talking about before. You see right in this region, before I go in and pat it out, it just doesn't stick to anything. It just like straight up wipes away. That is really, really weird. That tells me these have a very oily consistency, because they're literally just eating through my primer and the powder that was down. And then when you try to like pat it out, like normally with a Stila glitter you can pat it out. Do you see how it's doing all this weird like patchiness right here? Like that's super, super weird. Oh my god, and it did it on this side and I didn't even do anything. Wow, that really sucks. Do you see how patchy that was? It was super perfect like a second ago. And now it's just gone. Like what happened here? So here's my only option at this point. I can keep trying to build it up and keep working with it, or I can just remove this and try going in with no primer base, which it makes no sense because I would never go in with no primer base. And this is something that I would use over top of like an eyeshadow look to give it some dimension. So I don't understand, like they can't expect you to use no base, right? Guys, I'm gonna try doing this one more time. It sat here, it's dried for a few minutes. Like I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna go in another time on this eye, and then I'm not going to blink. I'm just gonna let this dry. Okay, so this should be dry at this point. So I'm just gonna go ahead, let the eye relax, let it blink, and I'm gonna try that same deal on this side and see if this makes a difference. I'm just gonna go over top of everything. See, this side, it doesn't want to build up at all. You can actually see right there in the center of the lid. Like, what is that? Why won't product stick there? I don't know. Okay, so I'm sorry. I was letting that eye dry and I was about ready to say, oh, it's done. Then I looked at this side and this side looks so thick and cakey and crunchy and just not cute. Like, what? Is it just this shade? Like, okay, let's try a different shade. I'm going to wipe this off and we're going to try a different shade. I honestly did not think this was going to be an issue, by the way. Wow, and then look at, I try to remove the friggin' thing and it like doesn't come off. Like, hello, you can't have this both ways. I swear to you, this is not coming off of here. I'll be here for a year. Ooh, okay, I just had to scrub-a-dub those eyelids good and proper, honey. There is nothing on them and they are finally dry and ready to go in, and I'm gonna dive into any other color. I had an order. You guys know I really wanted to go for an eye look here, but at this point I just need to see if I can get them to apply and look good. So I'm gonna go in with this shade, which is Sienna, and I'm going to just go in straight onto the lid. I'm not, again, caring about anything in particular other than seeing if this will apply better to my bare lid. So I'm just gonna take it here and get going. Now, if you see any gold little glitteriness left over from the other shade, I apologize. I scrubbed my little eyeballs like crazy. Just could only get so much. Okay, so this one is already going on a lot nicer than that other shade. Wow. I'm just going to take my finger here and kind of blend out the edges of this just a little bit. You could also use a brush if that's your thing. So I'm just going to kind of lightly work this around and just shear out the edges of the color a little bit. So that right there is just that one shade all over the lid. I'm trying not to blink. I'm just going to let it dry, but that looks 100 times better than the other shade already. Okay, so now it is dry. I want to go in and add another layer just to see if it builds up in opacity. Not that it's not opaque, but I just want to see if I can get a little bit more of that iridescence factor. Ooh, because that's really pretty. Can you guys kind of see that green coming out a little? It's not like a green like, oh, I'm going hunting and I need camo green. It's more of like a nice gold green shift, and I really like that. And just by the way, one thing I wanted to mention, I did go in and shake and like swirl and mix every single one of these when I got them and right before this video. So just so you guys know, they were all shaken and stirred and all that good stuff. Okay, so while we're at it and that side's just existing, I figure on the other side, why not go in with a different color and let you guys see that? It's kind of like lip swatches, but for the eyes. I'm going to take the shade Aubade on the other side and put that all over the lid. So there is one coat. It's a little bit patchy in the center right there. You can kind of see it when I get you in the reflection. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. Now this one is feeling very similar to the shade Zone, which was that first color that gave me all the issues. It's feeling very dry and chunky, and I am having a very difficult time getting any of the actual like color pigment out. And that's making it look really chunky on my lid. I'm not sure if you can see it, but the difference between the two, when I first applied this side, it was really nice and smooth looking, and this one is just looking really, really like chunky on it, and I don't know what that is. I don't know why it's doing that. Guys, I'm actually having a hard time. I can't get any product out of this bottle either. Like when I go in here, let me see if I can zoom it in. Look at how chunky that looks in there. I don't know if it's something that you can really see on camera or not, but just the way that I'm kind of twirling it around, I should be able to get product out. There's no product at all on this one. Now see, compare the way that that one was just in the tube with the way this one is. This is the one I just put on this eye over here. The shade is Sienna. And when I'm pressing the applicator around inside the tube, it doesn't do that. It looks so much more like fluid and liquidy, and you guys can see it in there spinning, I think. There it is. And it's like, but it doesn't look so chunky. It doesn't look so aerated and like goopy inside the tube for this one. These are very inconsistent. Okay, so looking up close to this side right here, Sienna, which is the one that we've just kind of been letting sit there. This one is the one that applied very nicely. And I'm just looking up close. It does look a little like it could be kind of crumbly, but as far as comparing it to the other two shades, it looks very, very nice. Now this side is the one I was having the issues with, and it looks okay, but you can definitely see a lot of patchiness on the lid. I'm not sure how much of it will show up on camera. I'm hoping you'll be able to see everything, but like through here there's a lot of patchiness, and over here on this side of the crease there's a lot of patchiness as well. So far what I'm getting from these is that they are not consistent at all, which is super duper frustrating. I'm gonna go ahead, I think, and remove this side, the one that's giving me the issues, and I just want to play around now with another color because why not? Okay, so yet again it is nice and dry. It's getting a little bit red and irritated, but that's fine. Now I want to go in with the shade Moonstone, which is the lighter shade. It is this one right here, and I want to take that all over the lid. As far as consistency goes, I just gotta let that dry. As far as the consistency of this one goes, it was actually a very interesting in-between between this shade, which had a really nice thin, like nice opacity to it, and the other ones that felt a lot thicker and chunky. This one that I just went in with Moonstone, it felt thicker, but it didn't feel chunky. It was like nice opacity and everything that this one had, but a thicker version of it. So I'm gonna go in now with another coat. Okay, so this shade, you can see it right through on the mobile lid, right through here. It is starting to get a lot more patchy, like whoa. Oh wow, and it's doing it out here too, right in this region. Yeah, at this point, this shade is doing a very similar thing to the other two shades that didn't work out very well. The only difference is that this one did it a little bit slower than those ones did. But other than that, it's pretty much doing the exact same thing. Okay guys, so I'm not going to be able to take that last shade and put it all over this lid. This lid is starting to get very red and irritated. So instead what I'm going to do is take the last shade, which is Nightfall, and I'm just going to use it a little bit on this eye and maybe just tap a little bit of it like onto the outer corner or something and just see how it works. Because like, look at that color. Oh my gosh. And then I'm just going to kind of lightly tap it out. That color layered up really nicely. Now obviously it's not getting the same test as all the other ones, but to be fair, I also wouldn't use this shade like I use all the other ones. This isn't really a look that I would wear like all day by itself, just because it's not like done with the finesse that I would like my eyes to be done with. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do, but I do want to remove it because no matter what, I'm not gonna wear that. Like it's just not, it's not pretty enough. Guys, there's something in this that's really stinging my eye. Like it hurts really, really bad, like right in this region. I don't know if you can see how red my lid looks, but it's, I mean, oh my God, it's stinging so bad. All right, guys, so I went ahead, I moved you guys out. I was sitting here doing a little bit of research and I figured I should mention it to you guys. So I told you I bought these on the Natasha Denona website, which I did. But I then went ahead when I Googled them and they came up on the Sephora website. So I clicked on that link just to see if maybe they had any more information. And what they say is that under the highlighted ingredients section, they have something called Paracress, which they then give you the technical name for as Spilanthes acmella, which I probably am butchering. It says that that is a flower extract that supports skin's natural lifting capabilities while smoothing the look of wrinkles. And I thought that was super interesting, right? So I scroll down, still on the Sephora website, down to the ingredients section where it lists them. And what I thought was interesting is that it yet again lists, it has this Paracress flower extract with, again, that technical name and what it's good for, but then underneath of that, it has the bulk list of ingredients. Now, typically with ingredients, it goes the one that's at the top of the list, there's the most, and then so on and so forth, all the way down to the tiniest amounts of things, which are at the very end of the list. And my whole thing is that I wanted to know where this Paracress flower extract fell, just so I could get a feel for it, because that's something I've never heard of. I'm not saying it's not in other things, but I've just never personally heard of it. So then when I went and I looked in the actual ingredient like section where it has the list with all the commas, you know, item, comma, that little area, I looked in there and I don't see that listed anywhere. I don't see that Paracress flower extract. I don't see any, like, you know how it'll give you a name and then put in parentheses for color or for flavor or whatever, and there's no anything and then flower extract. Okay. And then I also looked for the technical name that's in parentheses that says it's the Spilanthes acmella. That's not anywhere in the ingredients as well. So I don't know if maybe it's under a different name, but what I thought was even more interesting is that the little tidbit that said what that was, that it's the highlighted special ingredient and that it's good for smoothing and all of that, that isn't listed at all anywhere on the Natasha Denona website. And you would think that if this was your product, like if I created this little liquid shimmer and I was like, oh wow, this is great, it has this flower extract in it, it's amazing, like I want you guys to know about it, how come that's only listed on the Sephora website and not on the Natasha Denona website? Yeah, and I don't see it on here either. What in the hell? What is this? You know what? Actually, I'm going to Google it and see if maybe it has another technical name and I'm just not seeing it. Okay, so this just took another very interesting turn. I did a Google search and I typed in exactly what it says, like I copy and pasted from the Sephora site, Paracress, and then in parentheses it says Spilanthes acmella flower extract. And what actually comes up is that the Spilanthes acmella supplement, I guess it's known and called the toothache plant, and it's a food product that has history of medicinal usage related to its pain relieving properties. Now, varying websites do have a lot of other things surrounding it, but very common, the first thing that they all say that plant is used for is the toothache medicine. And again, I'm not like, none of this is fact. It's not like I'm going to the FDA and looking around. Like, this is just a blatant little Google search. But what I think is so interesting is that it has, or there's a lot of other websites on here that claim that this has so many other uses. Like I saw aphrodisiac, I saw diuretic, I saw all kinds of stuff on there, but nowhere out of all these websites I checked, and I've clicked on like 12 so far, none of them say anything about like topically you can use it to smooth out the look of wrinkles and fine lines, which again, going back to the Sephora website, I believe is what it said. It says that it supports skin's natural lifting capabilities while smoothing the look of wrinkles. And nowhere on there, anywhere, did I find that. Okay, you guys, so I went off of camera for a while. I did a little bit of looking on the internet. We'll get into what I found here in a second. I also went ahead, obviously, I finished up the face. I just went in, concealered the lids just to cover them up. I did a little bronzer in the crease, a little bit of highlight. For that, I used the RachLoves and Pixi palette. I layered the one clutch right here with lace, which is over here. Those are the same highlights I'm wearing on my face. And then for lips, I have both of these on. This is the Huda Bullet in Spring Break with the Kylie gloss in Oh You Fancy over top, just to finish everything out. Now let's go ahead and talk about for just a second what I found, and then I'm just gonna wrap this video up because there's like, I feel like this was more of a let's try it, let's let our eyes burn, and then we don't really know where to go from there kind of video. So while I was looking on the internet, what I did is I took the ingredients that were listed on the back of the package here, and I started Googling those ingredients. And what I kept finding is that basically a lot of these ingredients are just the fillers or the glycol or the emollient ingredients in the product itself. And what I could not find, no matter how hard I looked for it, was that plant base or that flower extract that they kept talking about. So if you guys have any more information, maybe you know more about it or you know something I don't know, as far as the ingredients that came on this versus what they're saying is in it and all of that stuff, I would be more than happy and curious to look into whatever you find. So definitely leave that down below if you have some information. But for me, what this all boils down to is that taking aside like the ingredient and not being able to find it and all of that, what I'm not loving about these just as a product is that they are very inconsistent for me. I feel like, again, taking apart like what they should have had in them and what I can't find and all of that, from one to the next, I couldn't tell how they were going to wear, how they were going to apply. Were they going to be thick and goopy? Were they going to be thin in consistency? And how were they going to apply? What's the best way to use them? And I feel like I tried multiple different ways to use them, on primer, off primer, and I actually went in with my hand and tried to do like little test patches on my hand, and no matter what, I couldn't seem to find a way to make these all apply consistently, work consistently, and last longer than 30 seconds on my lid without getting kind of crumbly or patchy or moving around a ton. So for me, I do not like these. I don't find them to be consistent enough for myself personally. Now again, everybody has a different thing that they love most when it comes to a liquid shadow, whether that's a thinness or a glitter or a reflection or whatever it is. For me, these just aren't it. I find a lot more consistency in the Stilas from one to the next to the next. They have multiple types and shades, and I just feel like those overall for me have worked so much better. For example, I was talking about Stila earlier when I was comparing amount of product, and Stila actually came out with a line of them recently. It was like their iridescent shades or whatever they called them. There was like yellow tails and a bunch of other colors, and I consistently hated every single one of those. I talked about it very openly. Those were all atrocious. But when it comes to so many of Stila's other shimmer and goes and glitter and goes and all of those, they are so nice. So I'm not saying there can't be any inconsistency when it comes to a line or a product or even a type of product within one brand, but given that this is kind of like the flagship launch of these and there's 5 of them, they were clearly released together, I would expect there to be some level of consistency, at least within this group or this batch of product. Now that aside, I'm also not loving the fact that these were so harsh on my eyes, and you guys have seen me. I go in with glitter glues, I go in with glitter, I go in with chunky stuff, I put on like really rich pigments and like actual pigments that go on your lids. I have used so many things on this channel, and I have never had a product in the history of my channel, which is rapidly approaching 600 videos and over 10,000 subscribers, and I have never had a product that burned or irritated my lids when I removed it like this. And I was actually thinking back when all of that happened about when I did the Huda Beauty, their Neon Obsessions palettes that they released. I did a full video, I can link it up here. When those came out, I did a full video, I sat down and I filmed 3 eye looks back to back to back. And if doing that didn't irritate my eyes, they weren't red, they weren't inflamed, they didn't feel burny, they weren't scratchy. And I used glitters and shimmers and glitter glues and all of that kind of stuff in that video as well. And it's very recent, and it caused me little to no discomfort, versus in this video, just applying it and wiping it off, it was so aggressive on my lids that for me, I would say if you have any sort of a sensitive lid or sensitive skin, I would not recommend these just for that fact that they did that to me. Now you guys, that's pretty much it for me. I will try to use these again when my eyes feel like they can handle it. I am really bummed that this is the direction the video went. I had this whole day planned out. I was gonna wear test them and I wanted to do all these different things and really show you guys this product because I was so so genuinely excited when it launched, and for me, this was just, it was not a go for me. But I'd love to hear from you guys down below. Were you able to see what I was talking about? Did it all come across okay? I want to make sure that you guys are really getting what I'm doing and like having going on over here, just to make sure everything is transmitting well to you. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. And while you're down there, don't forget you can check me out on Instagram and on Twitter. They are both linked down in the description box. And if you haven't done so yet, please do not also forget you can subscribe and turn on your post notifications for this here YouTube channel. I do upload 5 videos a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They go up bright and early between 6 and 7 a.m. my time here in Northern Michigan. And you guys, that is it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, bod, I was right. Oh my God, look at me. I'm so fancy. Oh, bod, a song or poem greeting the dawn. A morning love song, a song or poem of lovers parting at dawn. It's like in the morning when I have no Diet Coke. There's none to be found and I sing a song. Oh, it's the morning of no Diet Coke. It's not just the lack of light eyes. It's the absence of a full cup. Something like that, obviously. Oh, bod, oh, bod, oh, bod, oh, bod. These are 25 burgers a purse, and I'm going to sit them right here in front of me. It has been a minute since we've talked about Natasha Denona. Recently, she released, was it her Sunrise palette? Paige, why can you not remember anything? Where is this palette? It was the Sunrise. I was right. 27 fluid ounces. 27 fluid ounces. That is not right. 0.27. I'm pretty sure you forgot the point on your little description here, Denona, because I'm thinking there's not 27 ounces of product here. That would be a lot of product, you know what I'm saying? I do want to dive in a little bit. There's only like a sentence or two here in the description on the Natasha Denona website. Why is Natasha Denona so hard for me to say? Every time I try to say it, my Invisalign makes me lispy, and I'm like, Natasha Denona. Oh no.